I yield to my colleague and friend, Jamie Raskin.
Thank you, Senator Schiff, and thank you for your leadership. It's been an honor to conduct this proceeding with you, with all these wonderful guests and everybody looking at the proceedings across America. And thank you to our great witnesses here. Ben Franklin once said, "Make yourself a sheep and the wolves will eat you." And you are for people who have not made yourselves into sheep. You've shown us how to stand tough and stand strong against tyranny and despotism. And you and all of my colleagues here are speaking today in the spirit of our Constitution. We have an anti-monarchical Constitution. We've got no kings here. We have the freedom of speech. We've got no queens here, no emperors here, and we have no slaves here, and we have no serfs here. Just people, citizens, all of us together, standing equally under the Equal Protection Clause. We have an anti-monarchical Constitution. It forbids titles of nobility. It was so important to the framers. Congress cannot award or recognize titles of nobility. We've got an anti-cruelty Constitution. The Eighth Amendment bans cruel and unusual punishment. We've got an anti-corruption Constitution. It guarantees due process to everyone. It guarantees equal protection under the laws, as well as freedom of speech and freedom of the press and free assembly, the right to petition government for redress of grievances, free exercise of religion, no establishment of religion. And so we say to the courts, as Ms. Cohen said, you're an important line of defense. I don't think that you're the last line of defense. I think the people will always be the last line of defense, but you're a significant line of defense for us right now. We have 68 court orders that have been rendered by federal district courts, preliminary injunctions and temporary restraining orders against all of the lawlessness that's taken place. And we hope that the U.S. Supreme Court, which we know Donald Trump bragged about having packed and stacked in order to overthrow Roe versus Wade and get the Dobbs decision. We know that the court may be in a different posture on some of these things, but we ask all of the justices to live their oaths of office to uphold the Constitution and the rule of law. I ask them, I ask everybody in Congress, I ask everybody in the country to go back and read the Steele seizure case from 1952, where President Truman ordered the seizure of the steel mills in the middle of a war, in the middle of the Korean War. He said it was a national security crisis and we couldn't afford to have a strike and a standoff between the unions and the management. And so he just ordered that all of the steel mills be seized. And the Supreme Court came back with a remarkable decision saying the president gets his power only from either the explicit text of the Constitution or from Congress. And Congress had already rejected the idea that the president should have the power to seize the steel mills. And so the court said in a 6-3 decision, the Constitution doesn't grant you that power, and Congress forbade you that power. And Justice Jackson, in his famous concurrence, said, at that point, your power, Mr. President, is at its lowest ebb. But here's the remarkable thing about the decision, which is indeed the paradigm for interpreting executive power. As Justice Amy Coney Barrett said in her confirmation hearings over here in the Senate, the remarkable thing about the decision is that there were 9 Democrats, most of them New Deal liberal Democrats, on the Supreme Court at that moment. President Roosevelt had been in for 4 terms. Truman had come in. These people, they were friends. A lot of the justices had served in the Roosevelt administration or in the Truman administration. Some had been in the Department of Justice. And in fact, the 3 justices in dissent taunted them, saying, you said this was totally fine. You wanted this to be a power that the president would have. And now you're on the court and you're saying the president does have this power. But it was really their finest moment because they distinguished their roles as partisans when they were either in Congress or in the administration from their role as justices upholding the Constitution and the rule of law. And they said, despite the fact that this was their team, they could not allow the president to overstep his bounds in that way. And after the case was rendered, Justice Jackson was so nervous that President Truman would never speak to him again that he had a dinner party with all the justices, and he invited President Truman to come over there. And there was a round of toasts, and Truman said to Justice Jackson, well, I don't know if I like your law that much, but this is a hell of a good bourbon you're serving us tonight. So we hope that the justices will live up to their titles. They're the only jurists in the federal system who get the title of justice. Everybody else is a judge, and we hope these justices will act with justice. And I want to just say finally about the law firms, because I've been working with Senator Blumenthal and with Ms. Scanlon on the question of the law firms. There is no safety in appeasement. There just is no safety in appeasement. These law firms have bargained away $40 million, tens of millions of dollars in pro bono assistance. Well, now, if Donald Trump gets to choose who your clients are going to be, right, and you're going to end up representing, I don't know, the National Rifle Association, the National Right to Life Committee, you name it, anti-environment, anti-LGBTQ, whatever it is. Now, not only are you going to have to put the resources of your firm into these causes on behalf of a president who just shook your firm down, but you're not going to be able to take any of the clients on the other side, because that's a conflict now. You are conflicted out of representing the pro-environment, the pro-choice groups, the unions, if you've taken the people on the other side. There is no safety in appeasing a tyrant. There's no safety in selling out. And these people are teaching us what the meaning of the rule of law really is. Ben Franklin said, we must all hang together or we will all hang separately. Let's hang together right now. Let's stand tall, America, for our Constitution, our rule of law, and our democracy. And I yield back to you, Senator Schiff.